Hello everyone. This is the third and final video from my three-part little series on how to make, that was my coffee pot, how to make the mats and cut the mats with these embellishments. And I want to show you this butterfly. Well, I'll show you these to show you what I was talking about as far as, see how those cells just make it look like these butterflies. It just makes them look so much more authentic, and I swiped it with black paint. Anyway, yeah, so I've taken the time already to go ahead and place my butterflies where I want them to be. And this is really important because once you stick this to the canvas, it's stuck. You can't move it around. Now this is an unfinished one, and this is one of the flowers I just poured a few days ago. So anyway, this is Liquitex Liquitex acrylic medium varnish, and I'm just going to take a little bit of it, and I'm going to leave my pieces where they are, and I'm going to fold it over a little bit and paint these, just half of it, and then fold it over, let it sit there a minute, and then I will fold the other part over. Stick my finger there so I'm painting on my finger. Get a little bit more of this. I'm just using this straight from the bottle, and you don't want it to get on your canvas except where you're laying your piece. And the reason for that is because it's going to make a varnished area, and if you want to do anything else to this painting, it's going to be more difficult. So this is just the way I do it. It works really well. All my pieces are exactly where I want them to be. I fold them over. I do half of it at a time. It's not moving around, and I'm not trying to decide where it's going to go after the fact. But this is how I do it. And you have to work kind of quick because you don't want this to dry on your paintbrush. It's a disaster. You end up losing that paintbrush. So anyway, this is what I do, and I just go along, and I had some leaves and stuff, but I didn't really like the leaves on this piece, so I omitted them. And I just thought these little butterflies flying in all different directions was going to be how I embellished this piece. I'm going to go with this larger size side first. See, they're not stuck down yet. These are several days, if not at least a week, I would say, old, as far as from the time I cut them and removed them from the plastic sheet onto freezer paper. And they have diminished as far as the stickiness on the back goes. Before, if you touched it to your canvas, it would stick, and it was kind of hard to get it back up. You could and reposition it, but it was far stickier. These just kind of slide at this point because the backs have dried out. And so, yeah, I mean, one of the things is that you need to, when you make these mats, you need to cut out your pieces after the the 2 days drying on the mat, and then 2 days drying taken off the cookie sheet rather. Taken off the cookie sheet, and I just lay it on a piece of plastic because the backs are still, you'll see that when you pull it up there's some moisture behind there, and so you want to make sure that that's all dry, and I do it on some newspaper, and so that's like 4 days from the time that you make the plastic sheet and put your paint on it to make the skins to the time where it's ready to be cut. And then at that time is when I run it through my machine. And then after that, I peel it off the plastic sheet that I've spread the paint onto, and transfer it onto this freezer paper or parchment paper, and they kind of stick to that because they're not sticky. You'll have to make them to understand what I'm saying. I don't know what the term is. It's kind of a tacky kind of thing, almost like tape, you know. If it sticks to itself, you can't get it apart, that kind of thing. But after a while, when they dry out really good on the parchment, they are far more or far less of that tacky consistency. But it's also harder to get them off your plastic sheet at that point. So you want that tackiness to be able to take them off your plastic sheet, but you have to be really careful, otherwise they stick to each other, especially if the design is really intricate and kind of close together. So anyway, these are so cool. I just fell in love with, I wanted to do them, and I was doing them with making a stencil and then stenciling it and then trying to paint all the little details and stuff, and I was like, what are you doing? There's an easier way. So, and yeah, your cutting machine it's supposed to be able to just pretty much cut through anything, and it does, as long as, I'm sorry about that coffee pot's just like acting a fool right now. I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, so there you have it. Now all those are stuck down and they will dry, and then I can add something else to it if I want, or I can just do a varnish coat, and you would varnish it one way with a thin coat, and I actually thin my Liquitex varnish. I put a little bit of water in it, and it gives me a whole lot. It makes it less tacky. It gives me time to work with it, and it also makes it a little bit thinner, and so my coat becomes really, really nice and perfect. You don't see the brush marks from your paintbrush or any of that, and then you just do it one way and then do it another way, and these will then be permanent on here. Not that they aren't right now, but you can, you know, get your nail or whatever up under it and scrape them off. So you want to seal them onto your piece. But yeah, see that I was trying to lift that up to get something under the wing, and it's not really wanting to let me do that, but I did have that little itty bitty part that wasn't quite stuck down. Anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, go ahead and embellish like crazy now that you know how to do it, and have a good time. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Night.